welcome in. Day 68 on the quest for 19-inch pipe daddies. This is without a pump, just before the workout, flexing the guns, taking them for a little rip, taking them out for a little air, letting them breathe, Not looking too bad. Let's get into the workout, and I'm going to discuss in some detail some of my strategy here with my training. So this first set you're seeing is after about 6 warm-up sets with lighter weight, and this is what I'm calling a primer. It's in between the warm-up sets and then the first working set. And I'm only going to do like 7 reps. The previous workout, I did 15 reps with that weight, with the 100 for my first working set. Now I'm just going to use it as a primer. I'm going to save that energy, and then I'm going to make the first working set with the 105. And I'm going for 14, which I got, but it was a pretty trash set. My form could have been a lot better. I've had this issue with my neck. I pulled something, and it took 2 hours to get warmed up and go through my whole routine. It was just a little bugging me a little bit. My shoulders weren't set, but nobody cares. Push through. So my first set now is with the 105 at 14 reps. And same thing with the biceps here. Previously, I had done the 90 for 15 as my first working set, but I just did a primer with the 90 where I go like 5, 6, 7 reps. Rest, 2-3 minutes, and then we do this as my first working set. I think I got 14. And so what I'm doing is I'm working in the 10 to 15 rep range. That's my target rep range. And once the first working set, I can get 15 reps with whatever weight I'm at. Once I can do that for like, let's say 2 workouts back to back, okay, now I can move this weight for 15 reps. I bump the weight up. So in the example here with the overhead tricep extensions, the previous workout, my first set was with the 100 for 15. And then the second set was with the 105 for 13. And then the third set was with the 110, which you have here for 11. Now in this workout, I'm doing my first working set with the 105 for 14. The second working set here is with the 110 for 11. But it was a good set. And I think my form improved some. So that's a tangible improvement, because you can either add reps or you can make your form more strict. Both are good improvements. And then the second set for the biceps, I would like to do 105, but they don't have that option. So I just stuck with the 100. But the concept I want you to get is that once you get to that upper end of your rep range, you're pushing a failure every set and you're trying to add an additional rep. Once you get to 15 good clean ones, and I like to alternate. One day I, go for an extra rep. The next day I say, I'm just going to get the same as last time. I'm going to go for 13 or whatever it may be, but I'm going to do them perfectly. That way you don't let your form slide while sacrificing to get additional reps. This is the drop set finisher that I do at the end, but I'm going to keep talking about what I'm doing with the working sets and scaling the weight. So the triceps and the bicep exercise, I superset. I go back and forth. I rest for extended periods of time, where I do my, first set with the 105, I rest 4 minutes. And then I do curls with the 100, and I rest 4 minutes. And then I come back to triceps. So it's a lot of rest. And right now I'm just doing 3 rounds of that. It's really, really low volume for me. Normally I did more, but I'm trying to put all my effort into scaling that weight. And I'm putting all my hopes and dreams of the 19-inch girthies being associated with being able to do a heavier weight in that target rep range, in the 10 to 15 rep range. And so push every time to either add a rep or make your form tighter. And then once that first working set you can get 15, that's the upper end of my rep range, I up the weight the next workout, in this case up to the 105, go for whatever number I can, and then follow the workout from there. And then the 110 for triceps, and we just stayed at the 100 for the biceps. And then over time, I want to eventually have that new weight where my first working set gets up to 15 again. And once I can do that in back-to-back workouts, then I up the weight again, and so forth. So you push for more reps. Once you get the top of the target rep range, you increase the weight and lower the reps. And I found this to be pretty effective when paired with extended rest times by doing supersets. So you don't have to rest 7 minutes in between each set of triceps. You rest 3-4 minutes, you do your bis, you rest 3-4 minutes, you hit your tris again. That way the tris get, 8 minutes total and the bis get 8 minutes total. So a way more efficient, effective way to do it. And personally, I've found that extended rest time to make a huge difference. And right now I'm messing around with less volume and I seem to be able to still grow. which is nice because I used to do insane amounts of volume, and to the point where I would dread my workouts a little bit. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on with those 3 working sets. And then we finish with this drop set where I slow the tempo down. I go super, super slow and controlled. And I'm really focusing on keeping my elbows scooped in. I don't want them flaring out to the side and having them be stretched backwards. And the combination of those 2 things seems to be putting some stress or tension on my chest, giving me a little bit of chest growth. So I've got this imbalance in my shoulder where anything that, contracts the chest, the rhomboids, the lats, any of these muscles that pull that shoulder blade further down and further inward towards your spine cause problems. I get numbness in my face, and it's just this whole issue. So that's why this overhead stretch position works. But it's, if this is all I'm doing, it's hard to directly grow your chest or your shoulders or your back. Now this drop set I find is what is giving me additional upper body growth, because the chest, the shoulders, and the upper back are being used as stabilizers. And because I am doing a series of drops, the fatigue on the stabilizers is really high. More so than if you just did one set and then rested, right? The working muscle, in this case the triceps, might get taxed, but how much are you really doing with your chest or your shoulders trying to stabilize? And here, I know it's crazy, but this has been the source of any additional upper body growth that I've achieved, which there has been a decent amount of. Not saying that I'm the next freaking Mr. Olympia or anything, but considering I'm only doing this in curls for my upper body, my shoulders, chest, and back have been growing some, and this is the primary thing. And I finish each set with 6 pulses there. And this is extremely painful. Each set is very painful. And what I do is the 90, I think I get 11 or 12, and then I drop to the 75, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to get 9. I go for 9. And then the last 3 sets, which is 60, 50, 45, I go for 11 and then 6 partials. And I find with this type of training here, because it's really about pain tolerance, that it's really important to have a number. Otherwise, it's hard to set your mind on what you're trying to do. And the amount of time you have to spend enduring pain is ambiguous, which makes it harder. Whereas if you know you have an end destination that you got to aim for, even if it's really, really freaking hard, at least you have that to hold on to as the pain kicks in. Because if you pay attention closely in this set, I think it's going to cut halfway through, but the pain starts at about the 5th rep. So I'm scooping those elbows in tight. I'm keeping my shoulders down, and I'm trying to let my elbows be kind of pulled back and stretched back some. This is what I find is hitting my delts, my chest, and my back. And then we're just going super slow. And, right about here, it starts to hurt. But I got to get 11. And if I'm just saying, okay, I want to push really, really hard, I want to push to failure, but I don't know where that ends, your mind is not, it's hard to just be arbitrarily hanging out in pain for who knows how long. So that's why I think setting the target ahead of time, even if it's a really, really difficult target, it makes this kind of training easier. So if you're going to try this drop set, which I highly recommend you do, you're going to have to be able to tolerate some pain, boy. And having a target of what to aim for is good. And within this drop set, I do try to scale it over time too. I'm not as concerned as I am with the beginning sets of my workout, where primarily I'm focused on the reps, maintaining good form while trying to up the reps and weight over time, which is a fine balance. Because sometimes you get too caught up in adding reps and you sacrifice your form. And this filming has actually been really helpful. It just gives me another kind of set of eyes to look back and go, okay, that set actually kind of sucked. Or, okay, I'm like cheating here on this like curl. I need to make sure I maintain my form. Because if you do more weight, but you're sacrificing your form, you're not actually getting stronger. You're not actually building more muscle necessarily. And this is the last set for the triceps drop set, and then I do the same thing for biceps with preacher curl, which I haven't filmed. I didn't here. Maybe in my next workout I will. It's a bit obnoxious though. The preacher curl is kind of in the middle of everything, and I try to be somewhat considerate of the other people using the gym. And got my camera. I try to kind of keep as low of a profile as I can, not get in the way. But yeah, I recommend you try this drop set. It'll put some freaking hair on your balls for sure. Take it all the way to the max. You just got to live in the pain. How much pain tolerance can you do? couple little pulsers at the end. Get out of there. Thanks for watching. Day 68, a wrap. We'll see you in the next one.